Hey, it's Kristen Poborski here, and I am super excited to talk to you today about why you should include a periodic content update to your content plan. So, one of the reasons why this has been brought to my mind is that last week I had to work, I was working with a client, and we were going to recycle a piece of older content as we do usually every year at this time. And this piece of content was written and recorded back in 2019. Well, I went and looked at the piece of content on the blog and I went, wow, this is kind of thin. And I know now, having been using ChatGPT for almost a year now, I could do much better with this piece of content, give more value, and get some more SEO juice into it. So we did that. It took me probably, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to come up with this new piece of content for him and write the email that went out with it to his list, and everything else flows from there. And it was so easy to do. And the other reason I've been thinking about this too is my own business. So I'm really shifting my focus now just from old ways of creating content, whereas a lot of it is still valid, but now I use Chat GPT to make the process a lot easier, not only for myself, but for those my clients and the students enrolled in all of my AI based programs. So today I'm really going to talk to you about when is it time, really mostly how to update your content using Chat GPT. Because the thing is really, I want you to start thinking about your content as a house, a structure that was built with care and attention. Well, as in a house, you definitely need to go in and remodel it from time to time. And that's where going and updating your older content really comes into play. So you don't really want to, when you're planning a remodel or an update or a refresh or whatever, you don't want to be using or redoing the whole house all at one time. You really want to focus on the pieces of your house or the rooms in your house that are getting the most use out of them, right? The ones that have been well loved, well worn, but they could use a little refresh. Well, it's the same thing with your content. So where you really want to start is number one, which is going in and figuring out what pieces you want to update. So there could be like three reasons that you might want to update content. But the most one I use most often really is going into my Google Analytics and seeing what is my top content, and then looking at the age of that content. I might even go back and look at old content that I knew because I do keep a list of what's good content. And over time, looking and seeing, well, this was great content, but now, it's not performing as well as it does. It's time for an update. So that would be reason number one. Just to breathe some new life into it, things like that. Number two would be is if your methods have changed. So like for my case, I'm using ChatGPT to make content creation and repurposing so easy for myself, my students, and my clients. So I'm going to actually want to go back and update some of my best content to reflect what I'm doing. So that's exactly what I'm doing right here in this piece of content, because this post that this post that I'm referring to in this piece of content was originally written back in 2019, and people are still opting in and wanting to know how to update content. Well, now it's so much easier to do it and faster that I felt I really needed to update and do this. So, which brings me to exactly how I went through this process, which I'm going to actually share with you right now. So once I've got that list, I'm going to go to an existing piece of content. And the first thing I'm going to do is number one, like I've got listed here in the post, is expanding the blueprint. So I want to expand and possibly reword some of the existing sections. So what I did here was I took this old piece of content and I fed it into ChatGPT and gave it a whole new angle. Now, for most of you, if the methods and everything else is the same, you may want to take the content and expand on it and do that. So you might use it to brainstorm additional topics to include in your existing content. But what I did was I pretty much said, came up with a list. I had it go in and look at it and said, come up with actionable items to update this post using ChatGPT. It came up with the ideas. I tossed out all the ones that I know I wouldn't use or were just way too much, didn't need to be covered in this. And it gave me a framework to start with. It took me about 3 minutes to do that. So the next thing I did is that I really wanted to look at, I had statistics in the old one and I wanted to keep them, but I also wanted to get some statistics. Now that I had this new piece of content outline, I wanted to go and find new statistics and to support why people should be updating their content so that I can convince the readers why this was necessary. That took me 60 seconds. Once I put that prompt in there, it helped me to include new statistics at the beginning of the article to strengthen my argument why I did this. I already had good ones in there, but I wanted to look for some new ones. It took me 60 seconds to do that. So once you've got that, and then you've got your expanded article, and you're still adding little bits and pieces into it, and you've got that all done, because that's really where you want to start, is just strengthening the foundation, adding a few pieces in there, maybe going into some of the sections and asking it to expand. Those are all like kind of part of the drill down process I go through when I'm creating either a brand new piece of content or I'm repurposing an old piece of content and changing it around a lot a bit. But then once you've got that all done, you're going to want to renew the facade. Now, this is really updating your SEO. And for those of you that have never done any SEO, take notes here, because it is so easy now to do SEO, especially with the Yoast SEO plugin, which is my go-to plugin. They've got AI all plugged into it. With it, you can use it to rewrite your meta description, to include your keyword. Again, it's so easy right now. What used to take me 10 minutes for SEO takes about 3 minutes. So you're going to have it write your meta description, give you some suggestions on how to improve your content, and provide you with links to other related content that you can add into your post. This is super important. A lot of people forget to include internal linking, but you're doing your audience a favor by doing that. So those are kind of like the three foundations that I like to include in updating my content. But now let's talk about the decorative elements. So this is where we enhance the article with multimedia. So that's where I am right now. I have this article I've rewritten. I already had an old video on here, but now I'm actually updating the video to really match what I have here inside the blog post. So I'm filming the multimedia piece. And this is, again, you want to include video. If you don't have video in your article, rewrite it, add a video in there. It's going to go a long ways with enhancing your content and getting a whole new audience looking at your content. So you want to do that. The including new images in here was a no-brainer. I went and looked at that image and I went, whoa, this is not how I do my images anymore, because styles and tastes and change, and what worked back in 2019 for an image isn't exactly what I would use right now to create an image. So I will go and do that because you need to add images. And since this post is so content heavy, I probably will add in images here and there to break it up and make it more interesting for the reader so it doesn't look like a sea of words, because nobody wants to look at that. So you can include all kinds of images, but just think about what makes sense for your article. Don't just add in images for image sake. Pick images that actually relate to what you're talking about. So things like that. So definitely do that. Include a video in there as well. And you want to make sure that your video is very engaging, and it's an excellent way for you to infuse your content with your voice, give people a taste of what it's like to work with you. So that's why including video in there is so important. It gives you an opportunity to tell stories, infuse it with things that will really help your audience understand better what the content is all about. Like storytelling, like I started this with a story, so very important. If you go and look at my client Todd Krieger's content, he is excellent about including storytelling in all of his content. And it works really well to hook people in and really have them become raving fans. So definitely do that when you're creating your video content. 3 minutes is all it took for me to come up with ideas and an outline for a script based on what my article was all about. So 3 minutes, it came up with my video outline, done, and I'm ready to film it. So basically, those are the simple ways that you can update your content. It's as easy as that. So what I want you to take away today is you want to go back to your content, like go into your Google Analytics, make a list of your top pieces of content, look at when they were created, and then decide, okay, I want to update this one, okay? Or you may be looking at repurposing something that you did a couple of years ago, and you look at it and go, I need to refresh it. You can do a mini remodel, a mini refresh of it by just having it go in and taking the article and plugging it into ChatGPT and having it write it like a copywriter, okay? So you can do that. There's simple ChatGPT's prompts that you can use to do that. And I've helped you by creating a quick guide to repurposing your content here with using ChatGPT. So if you want to repurpose your content, now's the time to grab that. That's down in the resources, okay? But I want to leave you with a bonus nugget, okay? So you want to write that script, and then you want to come up with a list of shorts too. So you can do that as well at the same time. That's something I teach inside of my 12X content repurposing. But for now, in that guide, I think you should use this bonus nugget, and that is how to create a content upgrade. So I had an old content upgrade, and I had to write a new one based on this article. It was just a simple ChatGPT prompt that I gave it, referred back to this. It came up with a brand new checklist in about 2 minutes. I went through it, edited, made a couple changes, cut out the pieces I didn't want, and bam, I'm ready to go. And then I plopped it right into the old content upgrade. So even if your piece of content didn't have an upgrade and you knew you wanted to create one, it is simple as doing that. You could have a whole new content upgrade done in 10 minutes or less. And that's a great way to capture more people that are going to your content, especially one that has a lot of traffic. You definitely need a content upgrade or a freebie. And I want you to remember that a one size fits all is not always the best way to do that. So again, it's super easy taking a piece of content and using it to create a brand new upgrade using ChatGPT. So what I want you to do is to just remember that you can do all of this. I want you to go in, take a look at your best content, update it if it's old, out of date, or if you feel like it's a little thin and you could make it even more robust and better, create a video that goes along with it, or update and create a brand new video if your methods and the way that you are doing things, as in my case, I'm updating my content, and you'll probably see me doing more and more of this when you're listening in and watching me. I'll be talking about that more and more because I'm shifting my content creation methods from more just doing written content, which I started out with. Then we went to video content, and now we're incorporating, because AI is such an easy way for you to create, update and create new content. I am updating my old content that makes sense with a new way of doing it. So there is no reason that you can't be updating your new content or your old content, creating new content and updating your old content using ChatGPT. So if you're interested in doing that, I've created a companion guide that is a checklist that walks you through how to do all of this and the ChatGPT prompts inside that guide that will help make it super easy to take your old content, breathe new life into it, and create new content out of it and a content upgrade. So that's it for today. I'll be back with more AI content creation tips.